Hey everyone, welcome to the Infinite Respawn podcast. My brain literally just disconnected. I'm Chicken.
I'm Oak Tree.
I'm Grif.
Nah, I'm Baka.
We're
You
keeping
better
that.
start on that coffee there, buddy.
I'm almost done with it. First of all, definitely keep that. Second of all, I said the intro because I always say the intro in my head before I do it. And then as I was saying it, my brain just went click.
That is awesome.
What happened? Oh, I forgot where I was at.
And like a
Moving on.
restart moment. Your brain just hard restarted.
Yeah. Yeah. Good thing I got a solid state driving this thing. It booted up real quick.
That's the kind of show it's probably going to be today.
Oh my god.
So what happens when it's like every other week, but then we had to skip another week because there was a holiday, so we've had too much time away, and now we're like, I don't know how this works anymore. Uh-oh. Oh no. Oh,
Not
no.
enough coffee. I had to get up too many times, deal with child. Not enough coffee in my day. You know. Days are long and nights are short these days.
Yeah, okay, I guess I could see that. Yeah.
I'll give you that. I can feel that pain.
Well, what have we been doing with all of our obviously massive amounts of free time that we all have these days?
Streaming and playing Resident Evil 4 because it's so goddamn incredible. I finished it. It was good. All the way through. If you like video games, you should play this one. It is completely modernized. So it has everything, like I don't know. It just has everything from, first time players to veteran players to I want to punish myself to playing this. You got everything in between. It's super responsive, fluid. The mechanics are so solid. The enemies are sometimes too smart.
Yeah, I noticed that. Like,
and
no, I don't think you will hit me today. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Watching.
You don't ever feel like you're like it's such a mercy of the enemies either, because you go, they reach for you and they grab you and that's it. But no, you can actually dodge out of the way. Like when they go to grab you, if you hit the crouch button, he actually dodges out of the way. Or if you got the right kind of momentum and they go to grab you and you're trying to like sprinting out of the way, he will actually push their arms out of the way and push them down to get around them. Like all the small things in the game are incredible. Story's good. Like they really went perfect with this remaster. I'm very interested to see where they go after this. It's either Resident Evil 5 or back to Resident Evil, the original.
Rework some of Resident Evil 5. I think that would be good. Like, you change a couple of things about it and polish it, obviously. And then that way it opens the door for you to actually fix what was wrong with Resident Evil 6. So that we could actually pretend that's part of the series again. Instead of being like, we don't talk about that one.
This is what I like to call the retconned universe. Because they've gone back and actually changed a lot of the lore and whatnot, like the way things played out. And I cannot state how incredible it is watching a streamer talk about this too. The notes and the storytelling they did in the remake is just leaps and bounds and millennia ahead of the original. Because in the original, the little notes that you got were like the bad guys going, "Oh, we're going to set a trap up here for Leon. Don't tell him where it is," as Leon's reading the note. It's like, well, I hope I don't fall into this trap they just set up for me.
And I now know about.
Yeah. It's like, oh boy, that was like the gist of the notes. They were just, very crappy filler and stuff. And this one, you got so much backstory to like the main enemies, how the village turned upside down, like how it became possessed, like what took over, the events that caused it to fall. Hell, you got so much more background and story for Luis. It's like incredible. Like you feel for him.
Yeah.
In the first game, it was like, oh yeah, he comes out the door, gets stabbed in the back. In this one, it's not anywhere like, well, okay. It's not like, it doesn't play out like that. Granted, when I was watching it, if you played the original, you're like, oh no, I can feel it. And then, of course, but spoiler-ish to not, it's an 18-year-old game, but a remastered one that follows the 18-year-old game. I think it's an odd place to where it's like, don't spoil that one when the story bits are technically from the original.
Most of them anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, they did a much better job. Much better job. I actually felt like the entire part, like each of the sections was entirely fleshed out. You got so much lore for the village, you got so much lore for the castle, and you got so much lore for the island. Like, it all fits. I mean, the last boss could have used just a little bit more, but I mean, for the most part, they did so well. They definitely, I can only imagine what they would do if they got a chance to remake the first game. Plus, I would like to see more of Wesker. I need to see him get built up.
Do a remake?
Yes.
A remake?
A remake?
The original that one was a remaster, not a remake. So.
Oh, that's fair.
Because the Resident Evil, the original one, Resident Evil 1, when they ported it from the original form to its second form, was just a straight remaster. Perfectly identical. They just prettied up the graphics. I would be fine with them remaking it entirely.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the question. Do you go back and do that, or do you go ahead and do 5 and possibly 6, and then go back and do that?
If you want to set up 5, you go back.
I guess
because
so.
Chris is the main character in 5. You want to set up Chris and Jill, you go back to the original and you set their story in this one. They kind of set up Jill in the third one, but it's like, you really did not give her much screen time.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, people are every time I watch somebody play, they're like, oh yeah, it only takes like 15, 16, 17 hours to beat it, and they pick hardcore and it's like 20, 25 hours, 26 hours. Like, jeez.
Joke's on you.
Yeah. So I highly recommend it. Like, it ran super well for me too. No problems, no crashes, nothing like that. It's super good. I'm stoked to just start booting it up again to play it in my free time.
It's a well optimized game though. Like the newer games that have been coming out and recently, and then you start looking at what it is that the minimum requirements and the recommended and all that stuff. Remember, we went over this when some of the, I think it was Forspoken or whatever was coming out. And you look at that one, it was like, here's it also a newer game in respect to the fact that it's a remake, not a remaster, and the recommended was the minimum on the other one. You know, so
yeah, it was crazy. I will say, watching the speed runs of that now are crazy. There is a specific glitch that people have found where when you aim the rifle he gets non-collision frames. Like, so he can actually, whenever he's aiming, so he positions, he can actually clip through things. So people will go up to locked doors, aim down with their rifle, which clips him into the door. And if you do it just right, you can turn and he'll slide through the door. When you pull up the rifle, he'll appear on the other side of the door. It's really interesting to watch people do that. It's like, wow, that's really fascinating to do that. But yeah, that's one of the big glitches in this one. There's a couple places to do it. I haven't done any of them, so.
Well,
speed
you
run
haven't
it.
gotten a chance to replay it yet. I was like, oh man, I kind of want to play it while Nuggy's napping today. And Chicken goes, you didn't install it yet. And I was like, oh, damn it. I thwarted my own plans.
If you, the one thing I'm going to recommend, you could play it however you want, but I do highly recommend you get good at parrying. Changes the game. Tenfold, it changes the game.
Good. Okay. I'll write that down somewhere.
And if you play like on the hardcore setting, it was generous in the window of which I could parry too. Because on the professional setting, you have to perfect. There is no window. It is a perfect parry or nothing. Hardcore, you get a window. Standard, you get a bigger window. Assisted, you get a huge window. So learn to parry. It will save your cheeks 1,000 times.
Okay. I'll try.
Don't parry dynamite.
How is but that one's got a lot of stealth in it too, and I love Grif, but she's not known for her stealth abilities. So how
fuck that? Just go ham. The original
Okay.
game was go ham. There was no stealth.
Well,
so
I knew
you-
that, so I'm just saying, is it going to affect her gameplay that much?
I can
No, not at
sometimes
all.
be stealthy. I have gotten a lot better about it.
If you don't want to be stealthy at all, that is perfectly fine too. You can go full up regular Resident Evil style and just go at things. That's why I said get good at the parry, because when you are in combat with them, and because they're aggressive, much more so now, make sure that you can parry when they do go to attack you. And depending on how aggressive they are, they'll either do a swing, stagger, or they'll do a swing, do a swing, do a swing, and then get staggered. So you'll have to parry them a few times. So just always be ready. That's why it's so much fun. The dynamics that the enemies give you are fun, because you don't know if they're just going to completely flank you, because you're parrying one and you get stabbed in the back, and it's like, oh shit, gotta watch everywhere, gotta be moving.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun. Highly recommend it. The $60 game, it is 100% worth it. It's rare to find those in this day and age,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Especially right at launch too, like right around launch. You know.
And I will go ahead and throw this in there because it was just one of the articles that we had. It does not surprise me at all, but they went ahead and added microtransactions into it to unlock stuff. I think they added all the deluxe edition stuff that you can buy, and then they added in some exclusive upgrade tickets. So what those are is when you upgrade your weapon fully, there is an exclusive upgrade for every weapon, and you either buy a ticket or you spend the money on it. You can buy tickets with the spinels that you find, 30 and 40, and then you can just use those to get it, or you can spend the money and upgrade them. You could buy those tickets to upgrade your weapons with real money. So it's just, to me, it's like, I'm not surprised at all. The moment they did that in Resident Evil 7, I was like, they're just going to do that for everything. They did it. They did it in 7. They did it in 8. They did it in 2. They did it in 3. I am not shocked at all that they did it in 4.
Well, and it's what gamers are accustomed to now for most games. So it's not unusual. Do I like it? No, but at the same time, it's not unusual.
It's a single player game. What the fuck am I going to complain about? I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to unlock the shit myself. I'm just going to play the game. And also, they released the Mercenaries DLC, and I'm going to scream till the end of time. Please, for the love of God, Capcom, listen to people. Give us a co-op PvE Resident Evil game. Stop with your PvP games.
Yeah.
Just do a full, like, mercenary-style game where you bring in all the different types of characters across the board, from Chris to Leon, Jill, Wesker, Hunk, Ada, everybody, into this giant thing, and then let people just co-op that shit. Mercenaries is tons of fun. Like, just do that. You could sell skins like that. Map packs, whatever. Do unlimited time. Like, let's see how long people can last on maps like that.
I'd play that.
I'd play the shit out of that. Because the RE engine is so good. I cannot.
They give each character like their own specialty or ability or something.
They all do. Like, right now the Mercenaries for RE4, all 4 of the characters come with different types of abilities. Hunk is just an entirely badass killer. Like, he staggers and his neck breaker is just crazy.
Is the microtransaction stuff just for mercenaries?
No,
Okay.
it's for the single player game.
Okay. That's fine. I was reading through some of the comments, and the headcock thing is people complaining because the game is too hard. It's harder than any of the Souls games.
Oh yeah, I was telling you about that.
Yeah, I
First of
know,
all,
and I was like, okay, I don't know where he's reading that at. I haven't seen. Oh, there it is. It's like all over the comment section of this article. You're like, what?
I played Elden Ring. Nobody in this game gave me any sort of trouble like Mikola, Blade of Mikola, ever gave me.
Sekiro.
Yeah, like, not even. This game is much more manageable. You have to put it into like events or engages, or how, I can't think of the word I'm trying to find. But every time you enter a room, you have to be like, what resources do I have to deal with this next section? Like, you have to take it one section at a time. I mean, I guess you could think of it like a whole section as a boss, but I mean, it's not really like that because the sections you can handle in a million different ways: grenades, guns, knives, however you want to play it. With bosses and Dark Souls and whatnot, you have to be precise on how you do it. This one's just much more open ended.
Well, what I would even say with Elden Ring, like you went through your inventory, changed some of the stuff that you were doing, upgraded some stuff, and then went into an area that you had problems with, and it made it a lot easier for you.
Mm-hmm.
So you adjusted your gameplay accordingly because you figured out, okay, this is what I need to do.
Yep.
And so with Resident Evil 4, they're just doing the same damn thing. I'm sorry, it's not like an old school game where it didn't matter, you know, but they're modernizing the game as a whole. Then that needs to be what, you know, then that has to happen. You know, you have to change.
Exactly. You got to adjust. I will say there's one little Easter egg in the game that I didn't know about my first way through. But if you throw a golden egg at a certain boss, it does like 80% of his health.
Which I'm glad I know for when I play.
You throw a golden egg at the boss, and it does like 80% of his health.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't know that, but that's absolutely hilarious.
But yeah, I think people complaining about a game being too difficult is just a weird flex for me. Like, it's just one of those where it's like, I'm sorry, I'm not a good gamer. Like, I don't know what to say on that one. Like, it's just.
I played through hardcore, and I'm not gonna lie, it was tricky in certain parts. But again, you just adapt to the situation.
I assume they're comparing it to the original. Is my assumption.
I would assume so. I know that some of those comments are comparing it to like Dark Souls.
Yeah, the ones comparing it to Dark Souls, I'm like, they're like, oh, I beat every boss in Dark Souls, and I own the T-shirt. Blah 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 blah. This game's really really hard, and it's like, is it because maybe your gameplay style is more hack and slash dodge parry instead of, you know, shoot 'em up, dodge parry?
I mean, my best guess is that they cannot, for any world, get the parry mechanic down.
Yeah, it must be something like that because a lot of the complaints are that the ammo is too scarce, and it's like, well, it means that you're not making use of things like your melee weapons or your insta kills and your kicks and shit.
Yeah,
that's the whole point of it. I mean, that's always kind of being a Resident Evil thing, was the scarcity of.
Yeah.
That's what gives you the suspense, right?
Mm-hmm. Like, oh my god, if you watch through my playthrough, there are multiple times where I was like, shit, I'm going in here with like 13 pistol ammo. I've got nothing for my shotgun and nothing for my rifle. I've got 2 grenades. Or you go into the next situation, you're like, shit, all I've got is 3 shotgun shells and 4 rifle ammos and no pistol ammo. I better make some more or find some. It's like, oh. You use your knife, damn it. Shoot him in the leg, try to kill them as quickly as possible with the least amount of ammo. I mean, sometimes you get overwhelmed in certain situations. So you just step back and try again.
So do you feel, because I'm just thinking about the recent remakes, and you've played both of the big ones. Mm. So with Dead Space, they changed some of the stuff too, but not to the same degree, I guess, as they did Resident Evil 4. Because I feel like that difficulty level should have changed as well. If they're,
I think I played it on the harder difficulty too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
I might have played on standard. I don't know. But that one felt like almost like a 1-to-1 remake, just improved in some of the. Or I guess that one was a remaster because it was just really pretty version of the original Dead Space story. Definitely more difficult, that's for sure, because those things are rough. Like the monsters in that one seem a lot more aggressive. But again, I just use the plasma cutter for the most part because it's just fun chopping limbs off, watching them run at you. Definitely got a few jump scares. And that ammo in that one was about the same too. You had to be careful. You'd run out a few times, which I did a few times. Because sometimes I'm just a bad shot.
Boxes.
I'm just a fucking bad shot sometimes. Like I said in one of my streams, I was like, man, I come in here one day and I'm just straight parrying, capping everything in every single round, and then the fucking next day I come in and I can't hit anything with the shotgun. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
That happens.
Yeah, it definitely happens. Straight up, full fumbling.
Yeah.
What else everybody been playing?
We started Valheim yesterday, actually. That's gonna be an interesting one. I loaded it up earlier today to play some, and Chicken hopped on, and I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna go run around and look at the map. As long as I don't go into, like, the next area, it should be okay. Whatever. I'm running around. Man, I was at night and I was like, oh, I should probably turn around and go back to my camp. And then I was like, what am I getting hit by? Oh, it must be one of those little gray guys that throws the rocks at you. I turned around and I was like, I'll just kill them real fast. I turned around and there's 4 of them! And they're all throwing rocks at me and I was like, I'm gonna die! Because they don't stop chasing you. Things will straight up just chase you across the map. I was like, I died to it. There was also a boar that joined the fight and I didn't realize he was in the fight. So, yeah, I got wrecked. I had to go get my body. Died to more boars trying to run away from where the boars were camped out next to my body.
I got to get used to the building mechanic in that game. I'm not a huge fan of it, but it's the same one that's in Smallland. I've been playing that as well. Graphically, Smallland is better than Valheim, but both are supposed to have pretty decent plot lines. But of course, Valheim is a lot further along in development than Smallland is. Mm-hmm. But I played a little bit of it, and yeah, I'm sitting there trying to figure out mechanics, and that one of those dudes comes by, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna punch you to death because I have nothing here to do anything else.
Pick up rocks and punch the little trees and make yourself a hammer.
Yeah,
or a club.
I eventually got past that part and built myself a little house, but
the building is tricky, very tricky. I just started building like our main like little lodge cabin and whatnot. First of all, there are no windows. You have to design your own style windows, which I find pretty neat. And as you are building, you have to be so damn aware of the color of the objects, because I started building like a second floor, and as I got further out, the floor started turning red, and I was like, God damn it. So you have to build up so much support to try to get all of that to fit right. So that
I love the fact they're adding that into games. Like Icarus did that as well. Icarus made it to where, and then Icarus made it to where, based on material, and I'm sure it's the same way in Valheim, depending on the material you're using depends on how much weight it can hold and therefore how many stories you can have. But also they did it so, let's say Icarus had like a stone floor that you could put on pillars, and that could be a base, or you can actually have, which used more material, but you could use an actual rock base to set things on, and that would actually hold twice as much than the other one would. So like you kind of had to figure out based on the materials you got what you'd mind and all that stuff to kind of be able to build and do what you needed to. But I love the fact that the thing that drove me crazy though, because things would be green and then something would be yellow and then it'd go to red and then it'd fall apart, and I'm like, I've got everything, and there'd be one pillar didn't have one support under it at one little area, and I made it just too wide for that to be able to handle the weight, so I had to figure out all the stuff.
Ventilation is a real thing too. If you put fires inside, you got to make sure your house is ventilated.
So you do have to have, because that's a thing in Smallland too, I'm pretty sure. But now my fire's sitting outside, but I saw that one of the roof had a chimney spot.
Yep.
And I go, I bet you that's what it's for. But my house was just a 4x4 or 2x2. So it was like just enough to get a bed in and stuff. And if I put that in there, I was going to catch the whole place on fire.
I've caught myself on fire. Plenty. The fires you can get too close, and I never know if I'm close enough. So
first of all, I love it. I fucking love it. The first time we sat down a campfire, the first thing Grif says, "Oh, don't get too close. You're going to set yourself on fire," as she walks into it. She says this as walking into it, and I was like, Grif, you're on fire.
I didn't think I was that close. Shit.
And she just starts running around. I was like, Grif, go into the water that's right next to you. She runs into the water. She's like, oh, man, you got to be careful. And she walks out and back into the fire. I was like, Grif, stop walking in the fire. And she proceeds to do that another 5 times throughout the night. She'd walk up to try to cook something, catch herself on fire, and walk into the water. I was like, oh my God, woman, please stop.
Yeah.
It was so good, though. So good.
Well, there was a storm that rolled in the first time we had a storm, and Chicken's like, oh yeah, I think the water level can rise. And like, we're right on the water. And so Kat's like, oh, I've got the hoe. I'll just go ahead. And she like started building rocks behind
because you can elevate the land, you can terraform.
Yeah, which it was super smart. But then today I was trying to cook some stuff and caught myself on fire, and I died because I couldn't get over the rock to get to the water. I died in the water though. I got there. I just couldn't get there fast enough. So I was like, well, at least our bed is literally like 5 feet from my body this time.
But yes, the storms and the way the water works, it actually will draw the water out and then push it back up on the shore. So the
That's
water
brilliant.
will move inland.
That's
So
brilliant.
you've got to be careful about where you set your boats and where you put your houses. Because I was standing in a place without water, and it just like you watch it just come up and it like lifted me up and tried to drag me back out. And I was like, oh hell no, because you'll start taking damage if you run out of stamina. So I was like, oh hell no, I'm not getting dragged out to sea. I'll lose my shit.
It's been a pretty fun experience. We fought the first boss yesterday, and the environment is dangerous to you as far as like trees that fall on you and things like that. Like in Ark, once you've chopped down the tree, it's already taken into account the fact that it's individual pieces of wood or whatever. In this one, that's not true. It's a big log. It's going to fall down. And we were doing the boss fight, and the first boss is this big deer thing. And it was running around and doing stuff, and it knocked, like, I turned around and I was like, be careful, it's gonna start knocking down trees. And you can see your allies or your people around you's health bars. I turned around in time to see it knock down a tree, and Chicken jumped backwards, and I saw a cat's health bar go bloop. And I was like, oh no, she almost died. She got hit by a tree.
She had 80%, she had like 85% health, and she was standing by me, and I see the tree get hit, and the motherfucker just falls straight towards us, and I was like, oh shit, I need to get out of the way. Watch out, that tree is falling as she is running, and she goes right underneath it, and it jerks and turns as she's running with it, and it lands square on top of her, and it drops her to like from 80% to like 4%, and she's like, well, I'm out of this one.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I like that element in games. They added it. I want to say the forest was the first time I've seen that as an option, because I accidentally on that one.
Oh, I killed myself yesterday with a tree too.
I've done that. I've done that as well. But the first time I realized it was even a thing in that game is I built this beautiful cabin, and I was cutting down trees to try to be able to expand it, and it landed right on top of my cabin and exploded it. And I went, okay. That's new.
That's rough.
Yeah, so I did that. Icarus does that as well. But I love that element because it's just one more thing you have to worry about. And like in Icarus, you have the storms come through and it actually blows trees over.
It does in that one too. So,
yeah, so
it definitely blows branches down too. You'll be walking, trying to get back to your base in the storm, and there's all of a sudden like branches just everywhere that you can pick up, and I'm like, saves me time. I haven't chopped the tree down, I guess.
That's cool. I love the environment.
I knocked down 5 trees yesterday with one. I chopped it, and it fell at the right angle where it hit another one, broke it, and then that one, because it hit on the side, and that one fell towards another one, and that one fell towards another one, and it just broke down 5 trees. Then they proceeded to roll and nearly killed Cat again. Like these trees, they are more dangerous than some of the monsters.
The trees are bloodthirsty
because they will roll. And they apply all physics when they roll.
Yeah.
Oh, dear God. Please do not hit me.
That's good they've added that in, for sure.
Yes.
I love that. The game I've been playing is not that complicated. I had to find something that I was able to walk away from and come back to. Because I started small end, but it's just like most survival games. Even if you try to pause it, it's still going on in the background. So something can run up to you and kill you. So I ended up starting Loop Hero because it's on Game Pass right now. And I knew I'd love to play it, but I wish the game was to where it was easier access and I didn't have to have a computer or anything for it. I mean, I could play it on Xbox or whatever, just because it's one of those where it's like I would never put my phone down. Probably I would put it down just to be like, okay, I need to talk to this person and go back. But it's the concept behind it is you got your little guy and he's walking around whatever path is set up, and you've got these little green pieces of goo that your dude is trying to beat up. Now in the world, none of you can remember why, like, before this darkness existed. Nobody can remember that. They just can remember that they can just remember they forgot it. That's about it.
I don't remember what happened, but I remember that I forgot what happened.
Amnesia. I guess the thought process is like an amnesia, right? Like, I don't know who I am, whatever, but I'm an adult, so obviously I know something, but I don't know what I know. So So as you go through and you defeat enemies, it either drops some type of weapon or armor or something like that, or it will drop a tile over to the left that'll either something to add to the board that will add an enemy, so extra drops if you defeat said enemy. But it also gives you material as you walk through. Like, let's say there's one that's called the Grove. You walk through it and it gives you wood as you go through. Another one you go through the cemetery and it gives you like stone. So I guess the tombstones. That's my guess.
Okay, let's break up
savage.
the tombstones and get stone from that.
Jeez.
You don't know who these people are. I mean, come on,
Let's tear down the
We
cemetery.
don't
wall.
remember anybody, so it's okay.
Called basic respect. Jeez.
Yeah, but if I just got attacked by one of the skeletons out there, he doesn't need that tombstone.
It's called recycling, Griff. The dead
Yes,
doesn't use
exactly.
it, so
Cycling.
we're just gonna recycle the tombstones.
So then they've got like a vampire one. The vampire house adds an enemy, so it adds a vampire enemy to anything that's near it. So as you keep adding things, whatever expanded, it'll add that in. And then there's other ones that'll do that too. And then you have certain other tile that you can add that'll give you more material on the outside and also add bonuses for your character as you go around the circle. Well, you have a campfire that starts so it's your start and your finish for your circle.
Okay.
If you get all the way around back to the campfire again, you have an option to be able to leave or go around again. And so as you do that, you gather material. If you leave at the campfire, you get to keep all the material it took. If you leave somewhere before that, because let's say you go, I got 20% of my health left, I'm not going to be able to kill the next 10 enemies, and you decide you want to retreat and leave, it takes over 60% of your material from you.
Dang.
And it's random. So which really made me mad the first time I had to do it, because one of the vital pieces of material I needed to build something, it took all of them from me. Not a portion of them, all of them from me.
Holy shit.
And I was so mad. I was like, okay, it's definitely random because it's not a percentage of the stuff that's there. So but I really like it because it does stop between each one. It's very casual. I did find out though, Chicken, because one of the things that I kept doing, I was talking to Chicken about this, is you would end up with, let's say, 5 swords that would all be different levels. And I kept emptying out my inventory that was over to the right. But what I found out was if your inventory gets full and something has to drop out, it actually gives you the material from that up to your stuff to take back.
Oh, okay.
So I stopped doing that because now I'm getting extra material. Then you also have treasuries as some of the stuff that will add on the outside. And if you fill the block around the outside of the treasury, you get a bunch of extra stuff. And it'll give you armor or sword or magic ring, whatever. And then it'll also give you a couple other blocks to add on. If you add a certain amount of rocks and mountains together, that gives you a bunch of stuff too and creates a mountain on the map. So it's just one of those where it's like so stupid fun because I'm just sitting there and I don't have to think about it. I just go, I'm moving this to here, and I'll have something playing in the background, and I love it. And I'm not even that far into the game. But you take the materials back, and you build a village, and you have different things, like you'll build a blacksmith station, so the blacksmith moves into town. Again, he doesn't know why he's there. He just knows that he can blacksmith. And you use that material to kind of build your little town, a farm, and a gymnasium, and things like that. So it's quite interesting. But I've been enjoying playing that one. And since it was just part of Game Pass, it made it even easier to. But it's probably one of those I'll end up buying on Steam when it goes off Game Pass at some point, starting it over.
Hell yeah.
I don't.
Oh, and the recycling thing, it just reminded me one thing. In Valheim, you actually can't get rid of items. You can't dismantle them or do anything with them. Like, they're just junk items. The only way to get rid of items is one, either put it into a stash and let somebody else use it at some point, or two, throw it somewhere outside the range of your workshops, and then it will eventually disappear. So, for all you Valheim, create yourself a poop hole and throw your junk into there that will disintegrate. So make it somewhere in the woods, and when you have trash, go throw it in the dump hole, the poop hole. I found that very interesting because how do you get rid of this old stuff? Can you dismantle it or
So
not?
there's no way to destroy it.
Nope.
That's weird.
You just have to throw it out.
That's strange. Like
I mean, it's the same way with the raft is set up that way too, where you just pitch it and it has, I think, 5 minutes that it lasts on the map and then it goes away type thing. But
you can dismantle like building stuff and get all of your materials back though, which is super fucking convenient.
Small Land did that too, where you get all of it back.
Yeah, I fucking love that because I'll build something and it's like, oh, okay, I don't like that, or I need to take up this floor so that I can put some supports underneath it and then put the floor back down. It's like, okay, I'm a big fan of that. Anyway,
y'all have played Ark more recently than I did? So in Ark, it didn't give you all of it, correct?
We made a mod that lets us pick up the stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we didn't.
But
make
otherwise,
the mod.
no.
We installed a mod that.
Yeah, we installed. Other than that, no, you cannot pick it up. You have to basically destroy it.
Yeah, but it gave you a portion back, right?
It was like, I mean, if it did, it was very low. It was like half.
Yeah, I think it was a portion back. Icarus is a portion back. It's not a full amount. Or at least it wasn't. It's been a while since I played that game too. So, interesting.
Yeah. So.
Anything else? I'm gonna talk some news. Or?
Yeah, we can talk news.
I mean, what has Baka been playing? What's she been playing?
Oh shit! I clicked a thing.
No, not much really. I mean, they're doing WoW here and there. I built a Gundam model.
He's like the rest of us. He's been busy with real life stuff more than we've had time to play stuff.
Yeah, I
Right.
didn't play Valheim, but I don't even have it. So.
Well, we'll look into that. We'll see. Well, I mean, you mentioned Ark. You want to talk about Ark for news stuff then?
Ark. That's a good segue into that. So Ark 2 was delayed.
Oh my god, seriously? I don't believe you. What?
Okay, so their original plan, before we do the updated version, their original plan was to charge you $60 for Ark 2, which gave you Ark Survival Evolved with it. With Ark Ascended.
Yeah.
Ark Survival Ascended. So when you bought Ark 2, you got Ark Survival Ascended. None of the DLC packs. So you pay $60 for Ark 2 and then the remaster of the original game. And that built a huge backlash. Like, I am talking very big backlash. It did not go well.
I think it's worth mentioning that when this announcement originally came out, it was April Fool's Day here in the U.S.
Yes.
Yeah, which is also kind of weird. But yeah, they were like, okay, well, you could buy the bundle of it and for like $50 or $60 or whatever, or you could buy Ark Ascension by itself for $40, and then it was gonna have 2 paid expansions. So you're gonna sell me the game that I already own, but with new graphics, and then you're also gonna sell me the packs that I may or may not already own. Okay, fuck you.
Well, and here's the thing about it is their reasoning for delaying Ark 2 was they were saying they were having to get used to the new Unreal Engine 5. But the Ark Ascension that they're doing, their Survival Ascended that they're doing is in UE5, which we know from what Epic told us when they came out with UE5 that you should be able to take your assets from 4 and move them into 5 almost seamlessly. But there still has to be some type of process there to help you remaster this into UE5. I would think. Could be completely wrong. I don't do this for a living. But I would think there'd be some type of processing to help you learn it. And if that's a possible thing, I don't see there's that much of a learning curve between UE4 and UE5.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
And you all are professionals at this.
First of all, have you
built
ever played Ark? It's not professionally made.
Yeah,
That's true.
that's true.
There might be a reason it's called
Rubber band
Wildcard at the end of the day. We just throw shit up there and see if it sticks.
God damn. I like the fact it's like rubber band mechanics. Like it's actually a part of the design.
Yeah.
Your rubber band is
Right.
just part of the mechanics of the game. It's just how it is.
Uh,
Oh my god.
I didn't even know the term until I played Ark.
I know, right? Rubber banding.
Yeah, it's like I rubber banded, and people were like, "What?" And then you do it, and you go, "Oh."
One of the things that you didn't mention with this
I haven't mentioned that part of it.
is that in addition to we want you to rebuy the game plus expansions, it's not like you're gonna have an option to sit on their old official servers that you've been playing on, because they're gonna turn those off. We don't need those anymore. Get rid of that
Shut it all
trash.
down.
If you own the
So-
original game, you can play single player or host your own, but the official servers, if that's what you were playing on, you can get fucked.
The official servers, and I think it was the offline server, something else that was shutting down too.
And all this is in the end of August, by the way. So if
Yeah,
you
so-
currently own the game, the original game, have fun playing single player or hosting your own at the end of the day.
Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be an uptick in people learning how to host their own, which is,
Oh, yeah.
what we did so that we could play by ourselves anyway, but, it just sucks that it's like you spent think about how long you've spent playing this game, because it came out, what, 2014, 2015?
People have thousands of hours in
yeah.
this game too.
And they've gone through and redone progress after server wipes anyway. And now you want them to completely get rid of that so that you can sell them a new product. Cool.
But their money. How dare we not give them our money?
I know.
I will say that after the massive backlash, they did step back, and they're still wiping the servers and whatnot, but the bundle that they're doing now is different. The Ark Survival Ascended, which is the remaster, will be standalone. It will be sold for $60, and it will include all of the DLC.
Yeah, so
Well, and
basically
it's-
they tacked an extra $20 on and said, we'll just give you the DLC, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and the thing about it is like when they were talking about the Ark 2 stuff added, they made sure that they mentioned when they switched this was our bad. We didn't realize you wouldn't want a game that you've never seen any footage for and never played.
We recognize
Making us buy
it
something we don't
wasn't
know. Yeah, it's like, are you serious? You're going to make us pay for a new game that we haven't even seen anything about? And hell, we barely want to play your first one.
Yeah.
And there is this is the to me, what this looks like is a company. It's not a cash grab. It's we need cash grab. That's what this is. It is they are running out of money doing Ark 2, and they had to figure out a way to get more money into the system because the game has been out for so long that new players aren't playing their stuff as much as they should, or they want them to, or need them to.
Well, new players
And-
aren't buying this stuff. Like, there's just
Yeah.
no new money coming in from the original Ark anymore. Because
Yep.
why would there be? It's been out forever.
Right. And most of us own it and have used it in another capacity. And it's also available on Game Pass as well now. So, I mean, I guess they'll get a little bit of money from that side of it, but not a whole lot. And so this is their way of trying to generate money to be able to finish their game, is what it looks like to me.
Which is weird. Like, you did the whole big announcement thing. You'd think you'd be a little closer to complete. You attached Vin Diesel to it and all that shit. So.
Was that supposed to make it sell more?
No, but I mean, like, you're paying to have a name, essentially, in your game. And
Well,
things like
there's
that.
a
It's like,
game
why
that-
did you guys you're not even close to being complete at that point when you announce it and approach this dude to be in the game and you spend a lot of your money on that? Like, really?
There is another game that recently came out that spent almost their entire budget in big Hollywood names and barely anything on the actual game that came out and bombed pretty hard.
Was that the Crime Boss one?
Yes.
The
that
one
is
that
correct.
literally, I was like, I saw an article about it, or I saw something on Reddit about it, and I was like, oh, I didn't even realize that game had launched. Like, there was literally
probably
no
on-
fanfare, nobody talking about it. It was just nowhere. They stealth launched that garbage,
Well, and
because
then
they had no money for the advertising.
I guess.
They paid a few streamers to play the game, is what they did.
I guess
'cause I saw a
nobody
few
in
of the
my
bigger names
purview,
playing it.
I mean, I didn't hear anything about it.
They couldn't afford the top tier streamers.
No, I mean some of them were to hire in, but I don't think they got paid a lot. It was a matter of whether they wanted to take it or not, is what it was. Because you're going to have people like, you could go, all right, I'll pay you $1,000 to play our game for 2 hours or whatever. And you're going to have those people go, no. Because one, not that it's not worth my time to get the $1,000 for 2 hours, but I'm not going to promote your shitty game on my platform because I have a reputation.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, everything that I did find about it was that it was just not good. Not a good time. So, yeah. I remember seeing that, though, at Game Awards or something, where I was like, oh, it looks like a famous people version of Saints Row.
Yep.
But apparently it's just hot trash, so... No
That's
thanks.
an understatement.
Hard pass. But yeah, that's the ARC news.
Yeah. So, we'll see how that goes.
It's not going to go well.
You are not wrong.
It is going to be a shit show, and I'm going to be laughing the whole time.
Well, and I'm interested to see because it's not mentioned. I'm interested to see because right now, the original ARC is on Game Pass. What does that mean in August? Are they taking it completely off Game Pass or swapping it out? Or are they just taking it completely off? Because ARC 2 is a Game Pass day one release.
My guess is they take it off because it doesn't have official multiplayer servers anymore, and you could only play it as a single player, even though all of the write-ups talk about it being a multiplayer game. My guess is they take it off of Game Pass.
Technically, it'll still be a multiplayer game because you can.
I would almost do it if I was Microsoft. I would almost have because they have their own servers that they do their stuff on anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I'd keep a few of them open on that side of it for those people that want to play it. They have to get Game Pass to be able to continue playing the game type thing. They just wouldn't be able to move their save over. They were coming from Steam, and if you're a PlayStation person, it's a good opportunity to either get the PC version of the game or
Microsoft hates Sony. Version. Why would you do that? Oh my god.
Oh no, exclusives again.
Why?
Can't you hear it already? I'm like reading the article for next show just in my head.
Yeah, well, we're getting closer and closer to the end of that, one way or another.
I'm kind of glad there's not any news about that, but there is a darker news. I guess we go from arc to dark. See?
Dark.
I just added a D for this part.
I blended it.
Dark and Arker. Arc and Darker.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, man. They are still in some serious legal battles, and Nexon is suing Iron Mace in America now, too. They have filed a lawsuit with the FTC, I think it is, in America, so... Because they can't do the playtest in Korea because of the ongoing lawsuit.
Right.
Makes
so
sense.
They were like, all right, we still want to do our playtest. Well, let's do it in the rest of the world. So, Nexon being the petty little thing that they are, they're like, let's file lawsuits on them across the world. So that we could just we could just get them.
Global suits.
So, entire global saturation. Thank you, Wesker.
Got to bring it back to Resident Evil.
Yeah, total global saturation. Anyway, but yeah, they filed a lawsuit which hasn't gone through, so the playtest is still up and going. I haven't played it at all. You have to download it through a torrent, which it hasn't detracted me. It's just not going to go out of my way to do it, and Steam was just easier. Part of the reason why I don't use Epic Games too, one, I don't like them. Two, I have to go out of my way. I don't want to go out of my way. I'm lazy. Just bring it to me.
Just bring it to me.
But yeah, because of Nexon's cease and desist, the Steam had to delist it, and they have been fighting it tooth and nail, but they can't. They just Steam is not going to put it back on until it's settled to a point.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to go and download it through a torrent. So that's how people are playing it right now. And you got to update it and patch it through the torrent every time too. So
that's what though, like from a developer standpoint, you've got games that have been out there for like 4 or 5 years, still in early access, and you might 3 times a year get a new update while they've been working on this damn game. and they won't go out of their way to add extra content or anything like that as you do it. Meanwhile, these guys are like, we're still continuing this stuff. Go to a torrent site. We'll supply the link. Have a nice day. We're still want to be on schedule. We got all these legal troubles, and the reason we can't do this, but guess what? We're going to do it anyway.
We're going to try to do it anyway.
They're trying, man.
I'm just kind of worried that might come back to bite them in the ass. Though.
I am worried about that as well. But I wonder if it's because the update is supplied towards something that's already been paid for, and it's just updating that, if that's where the legality part of it's not as much of an issue. But that being said, that was part of the issue with Friday the 13th game, was the fact that once the lawsuit was finished, they couldn't do anything with it anymore.
Yeah. So until then, they technically are within their rights to keep doing, like, to basically keep producing this game until it is settled in court and they are no longer allowed. It's just, I don't want you doing that. I filed lawsuits. It's like, okay, but there is no legal precedent in America right now. Until it starts here, then they can keep working on it. Like it is in Korea. They can't do anything because it's a cease and desist right now. It's in legal limbo.
Right.
It has not.
There's a lot of streamers playing it as well, and that's gonna get some popularity going behind it. So
this game is so unbelievably popular. It's wild. The last playtest had 150,000 users in it. That's a lot of people for just a playtest.
For an alpha build of a game.
Exactly. Like, holy shit. I will say, I don't trust this. This is where you get to the point of where AAA studios and things like that, they get bogged down with the, I need to make money. It needs to be money. It needs to be bloated to make me money. And then you have developers who are passionate about creating a great product. If Nexon would make a game like this, it would bomb. It would be bad. It would be filled with microtransactions, and it would just be all about making money. But because these guys are like, I want to make a really great game. This is so fucking good. Everyone's like, I want to play this. Again, always start with a fantastic foundation, like Sea of Thieves did. Great gameplay, solid game, tons of stuff to do. Build on to that. But companies and AAA studios are like, we just need to stuff as much get that money as possible. Like Overwatch did.
I blame EA with that. Like EA, honestly, I feel like a lot of that started with him, especially if you look back at the Sims, where they're doing the constant expansions and add-ons. Like that started with the very first game. But back then, it was like, okay, well, you didn't have much options because a lot of people didn't have online to do the updates and things like that. So it was like, okay, well, they're getting away with it and they're making money with it. But I mean, again, not a lot of options. But they have continued to do that and cost like with these expansions and doing tons of like money with them and microtransactions in top of it. And
well, and then you were getting away with the Sims specifically, getting away with not necessarily feeling like you weren't getting a lot out of it, because especially Sims 2, once you had those expansions bought, you had so many mods and recolors and everything that just, like, basically they were changing the thing that you had already bought into a different product. So you had, like, so many more options available to you, and EA is like, what are we going to do about that? Okay, so Sims 3 had the store where they were trying to sell you a bunch of stuff, but you still had a pretty strong mod community because the game still allowed for mods to be added. And then in Sims 4, they're like, we want to make all of the money. All of the stuff is going to be tied to emotional states, so it's going to be super hard for you to mod anything. You just have to buy all of your things from us, I guess. And it's like, as long as not everybody has to be that.
And 4 was such a watered down product compared to the other three too. And so now you have to buy those in order to be able to enjoy the game, basically.
I remember when 4 came out, Grif and Red both complaining, like, because they basically there was a lot of stuff in the basic games of the other three that were in there that weren't in there anymore.
Well, and things that they had moved up in the world, like the fact that you could pick at, like, I like this sofa, but the default is red, and I would like it to have a pattern. In Sims 3, they gave you the option to change the colors of everything. In Sims 4, they're like, no, all of the colors are tied to emotional states. So this couch comes in red, it will make your friend angry. And it's like, oh, well, then why would I ever put that couch down? Like, that's stupid. So, 2 steps forward, 15 steps backwards.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, man, Overwatch has gotten so greedy when it kills me so bad. I want to scream that they charge you $20 for a skin.
Yeah,
$20
per
for a
skin.
skin.
Are you serious?
For like the
Yes.
new skins and stuff, yeah. Or like the legendary skins.
$5 at most. At
Yes.
most.
God, I just want to scream
Then
about
you do
like
a
the skin.
50% off on a freaking holiday when people are at home playing, and $2.50, and you go, oh look, I'm gonna buy 2 of these. It's a digital product. There's no real value in the real world.
$20 for a
Well,
skin.
I think part of the idea with that specifically is another practice that I don't like, because it's they add in the idea of artificial scarcity because the store rotates. So it's like, you better buy it now because you don't know when this item's going to be back on the store. It's only going to be here for a little while. It's like Disney doing that. You better buy the DVD before we put it in the vault kind of thing.
Right.
So it's stupid. It's all about how to make the extra money. But yes, here's an outrageously priced skin. Once it's off the main front page of the store, we don't know when you'll be able to buy it again. So you better spend the $20 while it's here if you like it.
God, that's just ridiculous. The other game that we play also has recently, because it's free to play, Puppet Master. It's free to play. It just added skins into the game. You looked at it, Grif. How much were they? They're like $5 for 4 skins.
My Steam's open, I'll tell you.
Okay.
I don't remember. I mean, I did look at it, but you're asking me to remember a thing.
It's a free to play game. I
Yes.
like it. They just did a major update for it too. How much is it?
I'm looking.
Okay.
I'm going to the store page.
But they have like,
Overwatch 2 is currently free to play as well.
yes,
correct?
Yes.
Okay.
$20 for skin.
Just want to make that clear.
If you got the bundle that has all of the skin packs in it, it's 15% off as well, so it's $17.81.
Oh, really? That's what, 16 skins?
It's-
Because there's 4 in each pack. There are 4 packs.
yeah, there's 4 packs, two characters in each with 4 skins per character. So yeah,
So
it's normally, what,
16
$23?
skins. Yeah, normally around 23.
yeah.
So it's like $1.50 something per skin, and the game is free, so you're supporting them making it, which is fine for
Actually,
in my
no, there's an odd number of people. There's one set that's just one character. It's the tunneler skins that come by themselves.
okay.
Okay, so with Puppet Master though, it's P2P, right?
Yes.
Okay. So they're not devil's advocate on this one. Okay, I'm just looking at it as they're not having to pay for the servers, the matchmaking, all the stuff that goes along with that. And I'm guessing that's why they're trying to justify 20, but why is everybody else charging 5? You know what I mean? That's where I look at that.
5 like per skin?
Per skin, yeah,
Yeah,
depending
why
on
are other companies charging
Other
5
companies-
for
Yeah, I
What
was
is
like,
it?
wait, no, these aren't $5 per skin. Wait a minute.
no.
I was confused.
No.
Sorry.
No.
Other companies that have to deal with servers and matchmaking and all that. Why are they charging a lot less than what Blizzard is trying to charge?
Yeah.
Because Blizzard, and this is, again, devil's advocate's going to go, well, we have a larger overhead and we do have to pay for servers and we're not charging you for the game, so we want you to pay this. And it's like, I get that you want me to pay that. However, $20 is an absorbent amount for one skin when you're launching 4 and 5 $20 skins, on top of the fact that you want me to buy the battle pass, on top of the fact that you want me to spend real money to buy anything else that's in the store because I, didn't play for season 1 and oh my god, there's a May skin that's on the store or whatever. So it's like you're asking for a lot of money for something for a game that you don't give me any way to earn the currency to buy those things in game.
How much is the battle pass?
$10.
Yeah, the battle pass price is not a problem. It's filled with mostly garbage, but $10, whatever, you're gonna get, I think it's 3 or 4 skins per battle pass if you complete it. Boy, put your phone on silent.
Sorry, that was actually, I think, a family member calling me, ironically.
Okay, so if you're paying $10 on it, and they're like, okay, you didn't play in season 1, so you didn't use season 1's battle pass. The most you should be charging is whatever percentage of that battle pass that particular skin would be worth. So like if you, I don't know, if you've got 50 levels that's on there, you put it in, I'll put it at $2. It's $2 for this. You didn't get up to that level. You weren't able to unlock it because you didn't play in the first season, but you really like this one. It's $2. You're still going to make the money off of it. You just made a ton of money off of a bunch of people that.
That's just it, though. Is most of the really cool skins in the battle pass, you have to pay for the battle pass to get the fucking thing.
Oh yeah, for unpaid
realistically,
battle pass you get like 2 skins and some extra junk. With the battle pass for $10, it is, if you finish it, it is 100% worth it.
yes.
Because
But it
you
also
get
gives you-
so
you
much
said-
stuff. You
you
get
said that
80
one also-
items.
You also said it gives you 100%
does
back
not.
of your money, right?
No, it does not.
does
No, you got to
No, they
buy
pick that
each individual battle pass. There is no you earn currency to turn it over to the next one.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Even Red Dead did that with its battle pass online.
Yeah.
If you spent the gold and gone through with the entire battle pass, you earned enough gold to put towards and just do the next battle pass.
I think that's
Yeah,
how
but
Apex is set up too.
Yeah, but they want you to keep buying it. How are
Yeah.
they supposed to keep making that $10 from you each quarter if they just give you the money for the next quarter?
Yeah.
Well, but
You're playing
like
their
Sea
game,
of Thieves Sea of Thieves gives you enough to be able to pay for your next one as well. But most people don't finish it. And
First
that's
of all,
how
I
they
love
get it.
Sea of Thieves Battle Pass. Oh my god, do that over everything. Like the paid version is really nice items.
Yeah, and there's
But-
and you get like 6 out of 100. You get 6 items for your paid,
Yeah.
and then in like extras versus all the items that you would get for your non-paid. So it's actually you're just paying to get a little bit extra versus paying to to get shit essentially.
Well, that's what I was actually. Chicken and I had a discussion the other day about it, where I was like, I wish there was a way to be like, I don't like this, this, and this. Let me scrap it for a handful of coins that I could use, to slowly accrue and then buy stuff out of the store. But the problem is any of the currency that they give you is essentially what was originally the legacy credits. So you can only buy like the recolors of default skins and things like that, like the base stuff. You can't buy any of the cool new things out of the store with it. And it's like, well, why can't I basically have a grinding system where it's like, I have 16 charms here that I'm never going to use. Let me throw all of those into the grinder and get 16 coins out of it or something like that. But instead
because they want you to spend money. Like this one, you could tell they are doing everything in their power to get you to spend money. They are not helping you get anything that you want. They want you just to spend money.
And the thing is they just have to tweak a little bit to where you feel like it's worth your time to play the game.
Well, I mean, you look at the skin thing, and like you said, if the skin was $2, you're gonna have more people that are gonna buy it. That skin is $20. If you made it $2, you're gonna get more people to buy it to make that $20 up way faster and over that $20 mark than you would have the handful of people that are gonna buy it at $20.
And let's say that whatever artist it was that did it, they paid him $500 to do it. So they paid that person $500 to do it. You can make that $500 a whole lot quicker by making a little profit off of it versus trying to sell a bunch of $20.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that their monetization plan is gonna last them in the long run.
No, not at all.
Because you're going to go from 1,000 people at $2 a piece, 1,000. That's nothing.
Yeah.
That's nothing. You could get that based on your how popular the game was.
Yeah.
So I hate it. I really do.
I do
Thanks,
too. Especially
I hate
since
it.
you've got other like it's like any time that any other game is like, I'm gonna do this thing that a bunch of other games do and they do it way better than I do, but now it's my idea and it's trash. It's like, why are you have examples of how to do it right? What's wrong with you? Happens with like mechanics and stuff like that all the time too, so whatever. Well.
Yep.
I think there was only one other thing, which I guess speaking of money, I'm sure this movie is making tons of money. 500 million globally for the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Actually, it's 677 million right now.
Yeah.
Oh,
It
sorry,
is
the article is the one I was looking at.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is now the highest grossing video game movie of all time.
Which is not shocking. I mean, I
No.
think it's got a huge appeal, and people are really curious about it. And
If
from what I've
you
heard,
look
it's really
at
good, so.
well, and out of the top 3 of those movies, 2 of them are Nintendo based movies. So you got the Pokemon, the Detective Pikachu one, and then this one, the Super Mario Brothers one, which I did go see.
It's good.
It's really good. I enjoyed it. The whole Chris Pratt thing did not bother me. It bothered some people.
Whatever.
There's somebody that did a whole op-ed on like Kotaku or something and just laid into it how it was so distracting because he would go in and out of the Italian accent or whatever, and it's like he's from Brooklyn. It's not an Italian accent. It's an Italian American accent. And you know, I really, it didn't bother me. I thought the movie was cute. It was great for the kids. It had a lot of Easter eggs for those of us that are old school gamers and understand the history of the game. They did a really good job of creating lore for games that we like. Like the Mario Kart, they gave a reason for Mario Kart to exist in the world that they did. They gave a little bit of kind of a Smash Brothers look as well.
Nice.
on
Smash
stuff.
Brothers movie coming up next.
Maybe-
We're
maybe
getting
it's
the
possible- no.
Nintendo DC universe.
I know
is
what the next one's gonna. The story for the I don't know what the story's gonna be, but I know who one of the main characters is gonna be for the second one, and I can tell you right now, Baka is not going to watch that movie.
Well, we already know what it is then. But if like Nintendo can hit it here, if they start just making IPs,
Mhm.
and then they're gonna have the Nintendo Avengers, where you know you're gonna have like this giant.
Avengers.
I
Yeah,
think that's
They're
what they need to
all gonna
do.
go against Master Hand.
I think that's
Do
what
it.
that's actually brilliant. I think
do it.
I think that's what they need to do. Based on what I think they're doing for a next movie, I don't know if that's a standalone or if that's going to be a true sequel to this one. I would prefer
I
them to
mean-
do a standalone.
Throw in Detective Pikachu into there too. Let
Like
Ryan
make it
Reynolds
like
and Chris
all the
Pratt
way to
go
get
at
to the
it into
Smash Brothers stuff. That'd be so awesome. But I feel like I will
Be a
say this
Zelda movie
because I know Baka's least favorite character out of the entire group. I will say this: 5 seconds. That's it. Whole movie. 5 seconds. You can close your eyes and miss it. Like blink really long.
Perfect.
Little bastard.
And so like the rest of it, there's no involvement whatsoever. But they did a really good job of the Easter eggs. Like I said, were great. They explain like how the mushrooms work and the flowers work and all that stuff in the world. The power ups themselves, which I thought was brilliant. I think it's really, really well done. My kids loved it. I know there's people that are one way or the other with it, but me, I'm one of those
So
where
some people are annoyed that they made Cranky Kong Donkey Kong's father instead of his grandfather.
right.
Interesting.
So it basically cuts out Donkey Kong Jr. altogether.
Yeah, I don't know. That doesn't really bother me that much. I mean, it was. I just feel like people knew who Cranky Kong was, and it was a lot easier to figure out. I guess I don't know. But it's. I mean, Cranky's in the movie for not very long anyway, but it's a good character. Like it's a really well done character, and so I like how they set the whole thing up, and this is their movie universe. You know, this is what they're setting it up. You know, it's just like, you know, with Marvel's stuff, it's the cinematic universe. It's not their comic universe, so it's like you can look at it that way, I guess. And how they wanted to do it, but it was.
People are also already doing like a timeline thing for the Smash Brothers stuff. Like they're like they've got Zelda lined up. Star Fox was one. Metroid was going to be at the very end. But looking at it, I'm like, you got to go kind of dark with the Metroid stuff, though.
Oh yeah,
I
That's
would-
going to be not like super dark, but it's got to be more along the lines of like a PG version of Aliens, and I don't know how well that would be pulled off.
Maybe
And I think you could pull it off.
a
Pretty
show
well.
on
If it's
Disney Plus.
PG, PG-13, I think would be questionable.
I think you could do that. What now? You could get. You can't make a Bayonetta movie without it being R. At least
No.
Like that's gonna be the adult version of the Nintendo universe.
The director's cut version of Bayonetta is going to be NC-17.
Oh yes.
F-Zero, you could probably do that.
But yeah, I
definitely could do a Kirby movie.
Oh yeah, that would be easy.
Oh yeah,
get Kirby into the universe.
I would love for him to do like an entire like Chicken was talking about that with that entire Avengers style, and here's your timeline for each one of them, and already have them in the works. And they might have looked at what Disney's done with Marvel and said that that's a great idea, and that's what we're gonna do. Where DC has looked at them and gone, we're just gonna make whatever the hell we want to, and not make any sense in our own universe.
They went. That's a great idea. We're just gonna do it out of order.
Why not? Why not?
We're gonna do the team up first, and then we're gonna try to go back and explain everything else. It's like no.
But yeah, right now, the movie, the article that we have says 500 million, but it's at globally 677 million, and 347 million of that is here in the U.S. alone. And keep in mind, this movie doesn't come out until the 28th in Japan.
Yeah.
So that's the only country I think right now that doesn't have it.
It's gonna be really big. I was thinking about it, like trying to think. More Disney movies. Which big blockbuster kid movies have they come out with recently?
The last one was Frozen 2, probably.
2017.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, Nintendo saw that opportunity to rip the kid audience from Disney and bring it into them. Which, to be fair, because Disney's been focusing on the Marvel universe and Star Wars, which are for like young adults to adults, and the kid audience is still opened up for the market because Pixar really hasn't been, on point. They're working on Toy Story 5 and some other things, but
the last couple of ones have not been so huge hits.
But that explains why Nintendo is like trying to hit this market hard, because like the movie came out and I saw nothing but bad reviews from critics and talking about how the movie is just mediocre and whatnot. And it's like you being a critic is not going to stop all of these people from taking their 3-year-old to going to see it.
Yeah, and I was reading some of the comments about it, and it's like some of y'all seem to have a problem with the fact that it's a Nintendo movie that didn't cater to you as an adult. Like that's not. Yeah, you're not who it's for. Exactly. It's for the kids. Their demographic is 12 and under, really. So, I mean, like...
They're just kind of hitting that one because Disney really isn't hitting it right now. And they're like, well, we could get into that demographic and really pull... And look, you tell me that wasn't successful. If they
I remember reading something about Disney trying to cut some kind of a deal with Nintendo years ago, I think, about movies and stuff. And
they might have. I wouldn't think Nintendo for it.
I wouldn't be surprised on there. I have not heard that, but I would not be surprised.
No, I think Disney is too in control of it. Yeah, well, yeah. When they bring something in, it's like they want control of it to develop it. And Nintendo is the same exact way. You don't take things from Nintendo. You come to Nintendo and work with them. They don't go and work with other people or companies.
Okay, so the top 2 grossing movies domestically of all time so here in the US from Disney, so animated movies from Disney.
Okay,
animated movies from Disney. The top 2 are going to be number 13 all time is going to be The Incredibles 2.
Okay. Wow, really that low?
And here's the kicker. And then I looked at this originally and went The Lion King. But that's the 2019 one.
Yeah, I was going to say the Lion King, the 2019 Lion King actually did super well.
So the next one down is actually going to be Finding Dory.
Huh.
Really?
Is that number Dory 2? Is number 19.
Oh, number 19. Okay.
And then Frozen 2 is right after that.
Okay, well, give me the top 5.
Top 5 5 animated Disney movies?
Yeah.
Okay, probably so you classics. So you got Incredibles 2. You have Finding Dory, Frozen 2. You're going to have Toy Story 4.
That's surprising. Well, I guess that was 10 years after the original, or after 3.
And then Lion King. the original Lion King is number 32 on the list from
So yeah, they
1993.
really have not been like hitting it with the animated ones.
Mm-mm. Toy Story 3 is just below that. Like it's 2 down from that. And it's 415 million that it made.
Damn. So yeah, Nintendo sees the market. They definitely see, because they're working on Detective Pikachu 2, if I'm not mistaken. Like
They
now.
are.
And I know they've got more in the pipeline for movie wise to come out. And with how good this one did, they're sitting back going, "Let's do it,
Well,
ramp it up."
And they did some decent movies that were during the pandemic that aren't going to show on this list because theaters were shut down or people weren't going back to theaters. I do feel like this is over the last couple weekends and stuff, people are going back to the theater. I think this is drawing people back to the theater, and it gives kids the opportunity, especially younger kids that don't ever remember going to a theater before or have never gone to a theater before because of the pandemic and everything that happened. This gives them an opportunity to have that experience. I can say locally, our theater is shit.
Yeah.
Like it needs to be clean. It's not great, but my kids still had a good time.
That's good. But yeah,
so,
that one is not very good.
No, it's not very good. And I also watched the new Dungeons and Dragons movie as well.
I've heard that one's pretty good. Like it's enjoyable.
I enjoyed it. It's one of those to where I'm not a guy that goes out and play Dungeons and Dragons, obviously, but you all are. So there's going to be some stuff in it that you all are going to see that I didn't catch. That's Easter eggs and things like that. But from a standpoint of watching an action adventure movie, it was really well
there
done.
is one Easter egg that I saw that I was like, yeah, that's some hardcore Easter egg nerd shit there.
And and one of the actors was talking about that they felt like what the director did really well, and what their kind of hope was the regular people that just like action adventure movies would go and see it and go, this was made for me. And then the people that actually play Dungeons and Dragons and went and saw it go, this was made for me. So it was like kind of get that combination of the two and not lose an entire group of people that have no idea about the game. But it definitely did not do as well as as this one did.
Yeah.
But my daughter and I did enjoy it just as much. So, but that was it.
Yeah.
We got anything else?
No.
No, that's about it.
I'm good.
I'm good.
We do appreciate everybody that hangs out with us each and every week. Make sure that you hit that sub button at the bottom and the little bell that's next to it, so you know when each one of these goes. Sorry that we took a week off, but it was a holiday here in the U.S.
That happens.
Yeah, it does happen. We'll see y'all in a couple of weeks for sure. Make sure you go to twitch.tv/EliteChicken313 when he finds his next favorite game. And if you
And
hit that
his
follow
next
button,
favorite few hours of free time. Good luck on that.
If not, well, the streaming has definitely quieted down now that work has picked back up, and I'm finished with Resident Evil. So in the fall, we should hopefully get more time and hit some other things, which gives me a lot of time to figure out what I want to play.
That's fair. So hit the follow button so that when you know when that happens. Also, make sure you join the Discords for mine as well as Chickens, which the Infinite Respawn stuff is in Chickens. But I welcome everybody over that wants to join. And then go to twitch.tv/MDB Oak Tree. I will be starting up streaming again soon, other than just on Sundays. But I've got to do some remodeling down here, some cleaning up, moving some stuff because somebody's finally moving out of my house. It's been here for a hot minute.
I will only believe it when it actually happens.
But anyway, I do appreciate everybody hanging out. For Infinite Respawn, I'm Oak Tree.
I'm Grif.
I'm Chicken.
I'm Baka.
Bye.
See ya.